Before we get into the meat of this guide, let me welcome you back, fellow historian. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss deep dive content like this. What you're about to hear isn't recycled lightweight commentary. It's practical, historically grounded knowledge that serious researchers and survival-minded viewers appreciate. Today's topic is one of my personal favorites because it shows how necessity, not convenience, was the mother of invention during WWII. And many of the tools, habits and improvised hacks that people relied on in the 1940s quietly laid the foundation for the technology we think of as modern. These were not gimmicks. They were solutions born out of resource scarcity, danger and urgency. You'll see echoes of these adaptations in your phone, your home security, and even your emergency gear today. That's why this story matters, and why it still has practical applications for anyone living a preparedness-driven lifestyle. People in WWII mastered decentralized communication long before the digital age. Before encryption apps, mesh networks, or satellite messengers, ordinary families learned to communicate using systems that never depended on vulnerable central hubs. Blackouts, bombings, and censorship forced civilians to turn to non-electronic methods of reliable message transfer. Runners, drop points, coded postcards and time-based signals all served as early prototypes of resilient communication networks. The key principle was simple: reduce the number of points where communication can fail or be intercepted. This mirrors today's survival communication practices where people combine radios, offline messaging apps, and agreed-upon contingency patterns. You can apply the same principle by creating layered communication plans with your family. One radio channel for emergencies, one time-based check-in procedure, and a simple coded phrase that signals safety or danger if your devices fail or get compromised. Resource rationing systems quietly predicted modern sustainability tools. When everything from sugar to tires was rationed, entire nations had to adapt their behavior. The wartime ration book functioned like an early budgeting app, forcing households to track consumption and prioritize necessity over impulse. Today's sustainability tech, smart meters, home energy dashboards, diet trackers, echo this model. They help people visualize and manage limited resources more deliberately. The lesson is that most people overspend simply because they lack visibility. The wartime solution was writing things down. The modern equivalent is running a weekly resource audit, tracking what you waste, and building tight consumption habits. Start by measuring one category for 7 days: water, fuel, or food. By the end of that week, you'll see where the excess drains occur, just as wartime families did. Improvised insulation and energy-saving techniques anticipated modern efficiency tech. In the 1940s, people kept homes warm with almost no fuel. To survive, they developed improvised insulation using layered fabrics, straw stuffing, draft stoppers, salvage wool, and reflective metals. What they didn't know was that they were pioneering the principles behind today's radiant barriers, energy-efficient windows, and thermal layer clothing. They layered reflective surfaces to bounce heat back inward, reduced convection losses with tight sealing, and preserved thermal mass. You can replicate some of this today by placing reflective backing behind radiators, sealing door gaps with fabric tubes, or using layered curtains to reduce heat escape. These aren't outdated tricks. They're the same principles used by modern HVAC engineers. Wartime repair culture, contributed directly to today's maker movement. Before YouTube tutorials and 3D printers, everyone learned to fix things themselves because, there simply was no alternative. Civilians rewired lamps, repaired boots, patched cookware, fabricated tools from scrap, and learned practical mechanics. This mindset is what eventually led to home workshops, DIY electronics, and really the entire repair and reuse economy. Today's maker communities repeat the same pattern. When supply chains fail or parts become unavailable, people innovate with what they have. If you want to adopt this mindset, start with a simple practice. Repair one item a month instead of replacing it. Sewing a torn backpack strap or re-oiling a tool is enough to build capability. Over time, you develop the same wartime skill set: craft, improvisation, and mechanical intuition. During World War II, early warning systems actually foreshadowed the home security technology we rely on today. Now, without fancy electronic sensors, folks back then created layered security using sound, vibration, and line-of-sight cues. Think about gravel paths that gave away an intruder's footsteps, bottles wired up as noise traps, or angled mirrors that let you see around corners indoors. These analog systems, believe it or not, inspired the principles behind motion sensors, vibration detectors, and perimeter alarms. The idea is still exactly the same. Set up multiple layers of detection so, no trespasser can sneak up quietly. You can use this at home by mixing digital alarms with simple analog indicators. Even something as basic as a metal cup on a shelf or a gravel strip under a window serves as a silent backup if your electronics ever fail. Modern security companies still follow this layered approach, because honestly, it just works. Civilians actually pioneered the early versions of what we now call data tracking and intelligence gathering habits. During the war, communities got really good at noticing patterns, like the sounds of aircraft, movements of supplies, blackout compliance, and those regular neighbourhood patrols. All those observations laid the groundwork for what's now known as situational awareness and pattern-of-life analysis. These days, those same concepts drive everything from threat detection algorithms to, personal safety training. If you want to put this into practice, just start by keeping a small daily log. Jot down anything unusual on your street, changes in your utilities, or odd noises you notice. After a couple of weeks, you'll start to see patterns emerge. That's the exact skill WWII observers developed, and honestly, it's still one of the most powerful tools in modern preparedness. The wartime habit of carrying modular, compact and multi-purpose gear actually predicted today's everyday carry or EDC culture. People would carry small kits like needle sets, ration tokens, fire-starting tools and emergency rations, because frankly, mobility was vital and supplies weren't always guaranteed. This approach is the direct ancestor of today's EDC trend. Modern pocket tools, compact flashlights, multi-tools, ferro rods and folding water filters all follow the same logic. Carry what you need to get through short disruptions. To adopt this way of thinking, keep a modular kit with 3 categories: immediate use, short-duration survival, and extended backup. Rotate your items every month, replace anything that's expired, and make sure it fits your environment. That's exactly what wartime civilians did, and well, it still works, because resilience never goes out of style. So, these 7 World War II life hacks aren't just old curiosities. They're really the root system of modern technology, preparedness strategies, and that resilience-minded way of living. If you found this breakdown helpful and you'd like more historically grounded survival insights, don't forget to subscribe, share this video with someone who appreciates real history, and keep exploring the lessons the past still has to offer us.